Good morning and welcome to Wrestle Talk with Arabbidb3aver. I'm your host, the elusive Arabbidb3aver, and today we're going to be doing the early morning edition of Wrestle Talk with Arabbidb3aver. And we're going to be going over some of the news and some of the things that have been happening in the world of wrestling the past week. So stick around with us and let's get slammed today. Let's first talk about the return of Jesse the Body Ventura to the commentary booth at Saturday Night Main Events. I think that was one of the big things that a lot of fans have been waiting to see. A lot of people have been waiting to hear from. And you know what? It's definitely going to be something interesting to see in the future. I mean, they did a 3-man booth with him, with Michael Cole and Pat McCaffrey that were there. I think that they're trying to ease his transition back into the booth, but I don't think Jesse has the problem of not being able to run his mouth. I just think that he has the problem of getting on the nerves of somebody like Michael Cole. I think that's really something that was definitely special. One of the retro elements of bringing Jesse the Ventura back, we got to see Eric Bischoff kind of give his commentary on the 83 Weeks podcast directly. The former WCW executive definitely gave his thoughts, saying under the circumstances, he thought Jesse did a phenomenal job because it's been so long since he's even been in that role. And he's right. It's been, almost 25, 30 years, close to 30 years since he's even been in that role and performed at that level. So I think he's absolutely right. I think Bischoff has that right from the get-go to going there to make sure that he is doing everything that he can the way that he needs to. And with the role that he put forth, I think that he did a phenomenal job himself. That's my personal opinion on it. Bischoff was actually on NXT a couple weeks ago and he forgot some lines. And I think Trick Williams and Rich Holland kind of got him through. Rich Holland picked him right up where he left off and just got him right back through. And, he's getting to that point to where he just can't remember everything like he used to whenever he was in WCW and making stuff happen. And I think that Bischoff, he's not missing a step. I don't want you to think that. I don't think that he's showing like early onset Alzheimer's or anything like that. Nothing like that's going on. It's just he's getting older and he's just not able to remember everything the best that he could whenever he was younger, whenever he was in that role at WCW and AWA. He was able to put it out and push it through the best way that he could. And he did a great job with it while he was there doing that. So, you've got to take it for what it's worth and where it's coming from and everything else that's going on is there as well. So WWE has some big news as well. They released a new logo for the Netflix series that's going to be coming out for Monday Night Raw. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but you can check that out through wrestlingincorporated.com or wrestlinginc.com is where you want to go to pick all that stuff up. But you can see that the new WWE logo is out. It looks great. I mean, Triple H did a really good job. The marketing team did a really good job. But we've spoke about this before, and we're going to speak about it a little bit later also into this. I think that the Netflix move is a money move for the WWE. I also think it's a money move for Netflix to gain viewership back and to get a lot of people in, and they're planning on something big for the start. I mean, for starters, we want to talk about this a little bit later on, but we're going to get into it just a little bit right now. I didn't mean to move my camera. I'm sorry, guys. Let me slide that back. But CM Punk is going to be versing Seth Rollins at the Netflix debut on January 6th. It's for two reasons. For one, they're trying to pull the viewership back into Netflix, and number two, they're trying to set off the new Raw with a bang on Netflix and make sure that people are going to be involved and going to be able to watch it and going to be able to have the fun that they're going to be having everywhere else that Raw has been through Peacock and through the WWE Network and through USA in the past. So, there's a lot of stuff that's going on there with Raw directly that's going to be changing. But I think that they really are missing money here. It's almost like a WCW move in a way. And I hate to even call it that, but it is. It's a WCW move in sort of a way with Netflix doing this. For one, this is a money match that they're going to be setting out. They're going to have Rollins versus CM Punk. Rollins versus CM Punk, and they're going to give it away for free on Netflix. Well, not for free. You have to have a subscription, but you know what I mean. It's free if you're subscribed to them. They're going to give it away on Netflix as a here. Let me show you what's going to be happening there. And on Friday, there was a report that the match was planned for the first Monday of 2025, which is going to be January 6th. Excuse me. Let me correct myself. January 6th on Netflix. But I believe it was the match that everybody wanted to see for WrestleMania 40, and we didn't get a chance to. I also think that CM Punk is kind of pushing the bear a little bit with it. Punk opened the show on Friday addressing the ongoing feud with Rollins and reckoning that the idea that they are due for a collision inside the ring sooner rather than later. He said he wasn't feeling happy about it after last week's confrontation, and he likened his current rivalry to his former one with Drew McIntyre, questioning whether Rollins felt he was tough enough to do what McIntyre couldn't do. And I think that questioning his manhood was a big part of this to set this up, and then we got to see Rollins come out and call Punk basically an asshole and reiterating his belief that Punk definitely did not put the WWE on his back and he didn't make it stronger, and saying that he was the Second City Saint, quote unquote, and that he abandoned WWE and so much more. Rollins proceeded to call Punk by his real name, Phil, before meeting at ringside for the brawl, prompting Adam Pearce and the WWE officials to separate the two. In what was following a backstage segment, Rollins yelled at Pearce for once again getting involved before the general manager argued back that if Rollins could give him the chance, then he could look at getting him the green light. But instead, he just keeps butting in, as you see, and everything that's going on there. We got to see McIntyre appear, of course, and do some things there as well. I'm not really huge on McIntyre. I think that McIntyre made a mistake by going back to WWE, but it was in the best interest of his wallet to do so. So, you can't kind of complain there for him. We also got to see the tribal combat between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa for the official WWE Raw Netflix debut, which is going to be happening January 6th as well. After challenging his younger cousin in a video package on WWE SmackDown, Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa, the tribal chief, opted for a match officially set for WWE Raw's first show on Netflix. It was revealed on Raw on Monday that the match essentially is a no disqualification stipulation match with no outside interference. Is set for the big premiere. In the light of SmackDown, Reigns addressed the singles feud with Sikoa after the original Bloodline featuring Reigns, the Usos, and Sami Zayn, alongside with CM Punk on their team that defeated the New Bloodline and Bronson Reed at Survivor Series War Games. Reigns said that he was giving Sikoa the opportunity to earn Ulafa, the symbol of chiefdom, like he did on the set of the challenge of the Netflix premiere on Raw. Despite the two being SmackDown stars, Reigns versus Sikoa will be the second ever tribal combat match in WWE history. The stipulation was first introduced when Jey Uso challenged Reigns at SummerSlam in 2023. Reigns putting his undisputed WWE Championship on the line for that. But like I said, it's going to be a great time for those that are coming in at Raw and wanting to view what's going on at Raw and having everything that's going to be happening there. And I think that's going to cover our WWE stuff for right now. I've been watching a little bit of TNA here recently. I love the stuff that's going on with the Hardy Boys. I love the stuff that's happening with Joe Hendry. They're using Joe Hendry and PCO. PCO is like all over the place in TNA right now. Let me get a drink. But there's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening throughout that time, throughout those issues. Saturday night main events kicked off with a big bang too. I forgot to mention this. It kicked off with the Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes, and they donned the new old stock, I should say, a wing championship belt. And man, it's one of the prettiest belts the WWE has ever created and ever hosted, and it really needs to come back. It really needs to be a mainstay for the WWE, but I don't think it's the prettiest in my opinion. I said it a couple days on social media, and I'm going to say it again here. I think the best belt that they did was the Andre belt in 87. The world title that they gave Andre in 87 was the most beautiful belt I've ever seen that's come through WWE. Now, there's been a lot that I like. I like the Attitude Era's world title as well. I think it was a beautiful title. I think it had some great stuff going for it as well. But man, just to be honest with you and be upfront with you, that belt that they gave Andre was just beautiful to me. And then I like the 10 pounds of gold. I've always been a 10 pounds of gold fan for the NWA. I think it's one of the best things that's happened to them. It is what it is. I like the old 10 pounds of gold. I also like the new revision with the Australia tabs on it and all the other tabs that they added to it. They added like 3 tabs to it. But that's just me. That's just what I like. We were talking about the Netflix deal just briefly a few minutes ago, and I kind of want to reiterate this. I think it's just really a big fandom move, to be honest with you. I don't think I don't think it's really in the best interest of Raw. I mean, they're going to be making money anyway, right? TKO is a billion dollar industry, hundreds of billions of dollar industry every year. They have the money to do whatever they want to do with, when they want to do it, how they want to do it. But I think that they're going for viewership. They're trying to line the pockets of their friends. They're trying to make sure that everybody is taken care of on that front with their friends, and they're moving forward with it. So you got to see that in the future, in the days to come, with the Netflix deal going through, yeah, it's going to bring a lot of people back to Netflix who left Netflix because they're not going to be able to get the wrestling that they want to see, or it can do the vice versa thing, is it can push them away. See, WWE has signed a couple deals here recently as far as television goes. The Netflix one was one of the huge ones that we got to see, but they also signed the NXT deal with the CW, which I think really was a slap in the face to the NWA. If I'm being honest with you, the NWA was the basically fluffer company for the WWE to come in and just steal their rights and steal their television and do things like that with them. And that was just wrong. And it was just such a shady backdoor deal that was done. The NWA had been there for 2 years. They were exclusive to them during the time that they were with them. They abided by the rules that were given to them, and they did everything that was asked of them, and they got dropped like hot potatoes, baby, on the floor. And I don't think that that was a good move for them to drop them, to be honest with you. I think the CW should have kept them, but they were bowing down. They were looking for the money, and they got the money in the WWE, and they knew that they're going to bring viewership and they're going to bring fans back. So they signed that deal with the WWE, but they gave them a non-disclosure agreement and saying that they're the only company that can be broadcast as far as wrestling on their network. And it was just a slap into the face of the NWA. And to be honest with you, the NWA needs to be looking to get back on television somehow, some way, even if it's through public broadcasting, PBS. I mean, they're already recording in all the PBS studios across their Skyway in Nashville and Tampa, at the Sesame Street PBS studios down there. They were in New York a couple days ago at theirs. So they've been doing a lot of stuff and recording in a lot of places. And to be honest with you, it just would make sense because PBS is everywhere. They would send them into Los Angeles. They'd send them into Las Vegas. They would go back through Texas. And congratulations, by the way, on Dog Pound. I want to give that out there too, becoming one of the newest NWA territories out there. And World League Wrestling as well. You all became a brand new territory in the National Wrestling Alliance as well. But it would give you the viability to be put back on the air where you needed to go and how you needed to go, and to get put back into people's homes the way that you needed to. Now, World League Wrestling actually has a leg up on the competition, though, because they're already in a lot of places right now. They're in Houston, they're in Oklahoma, they're outside of Missouri, they're in parts of Tennessee, they're broadcasting everywhere. So they kind of already have the leg up as far as that goes on television, but they need it on a national level. Everybody needs to be on a national level, not just on local levels, in order to make an impact like they were going to. And that's where I think the Netflix deal and the CW deal have really kind of strangleholded the little guys, basically. I mean, the National Wrestling Alliance isn't really little. I mean, they're a huge conglomerate. They've just gone through some ups and downs. And congratulations on Dothan this past weekend. I mean, y'all freaking lit Dothan on fire, baby, on the 14th. So, I mean, that was a really good thing for you guys for the National Wrestling Alliance. And man, we'll talk about that more in some of the days to come. So, but yeah, I think that that's one of the main things that's happened is they kind of squeezed the NWA out off of the CW app after they did all the legwork for everybody. They got people to join the CW. They got people to download the CW app. They went out there and they were broadcasting and advertising, giving them free advertising at all the shows. Now, mind you, that's one of the big things is they were going live and having people download the app at their shows live to make sure that they knew where they could find the NWA at the time period. And then they just kind of fluffer-dealed them out. As soon as the WWE opened up the checkbook and said, hey, whatever it's going to cost, we want to do it, but we want to do it solo, and we don't want anybody to be involved. No other wrestling can be on this company except for us. That was a bad move for the CW because you just basically spit in the face of the people who paved the way for you. And yeah, I understand where the WWE is going, but you're going back into the territory system now with the NWA. And as that territory system develops, it's going to be interesting to see in the days to come if with WWE opening up the ID system again for independent development and independent wrestlers to become part of the WWE, it's really going to be interesting to see if they're just going to be poaching the best of the best or what they're going to be doing. in the future moving forward with that. I mean, they've already proven that they're going to do it with the television. They're going to take everybody out as much as they can and try to keep everybody off the air as much as they can so that they can be the only show that's on the air. The only problem is there's different markets in different areas that want different people. TNA is a great market in America. They went through some big trouble. I mean, God, does everybody remember the Spike deal that they did? Spike was the best thing that happened for them in the past 20 years. And then they fumbled that, went to Destination America, a channel that nobody had. And then they opened up their own network because nobody was able to see them or even be a part of them. They basically became MLW is basically what happened with them. So, you got to see, coming from where they're coming from, these companies have got to realize that they're almost being squeezed out of the television market by the big boys, by WWE. Now you've got to get to a point to where you're marketable again. And TNA did a major thing at some of the past pay-per-views by actually cross-promoting with the WWE and putting their talent with the WWE, like the Motor City Machine Guns winning the titles. God, that was amazing for the Motor City Machine Guns, amazing for TNA, and that was amazing cross-promotion that was going on. But you really have to realize this, that it looks like the WWE is starting to put the squeeze on these little companies because they know they don't have the money to keep it running and keep it funding. So they're trying everything they can to get all the talent that they can from anywhere that they can get it from and keep it on their side. I talked about that whenever it first happened, when the ID program first came out and they started, and I mean, it's still brand new, to be honest with you. They're still naming people to the ID program. But whenever it first came out, I told them, I said, it's just the same thing that went on in the late 70s and early 80s. They're just poaching from the territories. They're trying to get all the best talent from all the territories to sign with them and to become developmental with them so that they have a no-compete contract and they can't go anywhere and they can't do anything. They can't wrestle in any of these other promotions other than the ones that are allowed under the ID program directly, other than the schools that are allowed with the ID program directly. And in a way, it's good, and in a way, it's bad. So here's the good part of it is, yeah, you have a shot to become a WWE superstar eventually. Here's the bad news of it. You have the same shot that you do right now as an independent wrestler. I mean, prove me wrong. I mean, you have the same shot to make it, the same shot to be a WWE superstar as an independent wrestler as you do an ID person being named to the ID. Now, does it help you that you're already in the developmental system and that you're going to be able to roll through and do things like that? Absolutely, it does. It'll help you quite a bit because they're going to invest the money in you. They're going to invest the time in you if you're going to invest the time and money in yourself. So they're looking at both aspects of this and trying to make sure that everybody knows both aspects of this are going down. So, you just take it for what it's worth. The ID system is going to be good in a way, but it's going to be bad in a way. I think that if they continue on the path that they're going right now, they're not going to shut down all the little independent promotions. It's never going to happen. They're never going to shut everybody completely out. There's always going to be somebody who's going to be trying to make competition for them. But what they're going to do is they're going to take the best talent from each of these regions, and they're going to basically crush them and say, hey, they can't perform for you anymore. They only can perform for this company, and this company in our farm system. And that's really what's going to be going on. And that's really what's going to be interesting to see in the days to come is who all will they name and who all would they do that to take away from the independent promotions, such as Joe Kazana Promotions or the National Wrestling Alliance, because you won't be able to work with them if you get named eventually. That's eventually what's going to be happening. Now, they haven't done that yet. I will say that. With the new recruits that they've named yet, that hasn't happened, but eventually it will. And you guys will see that in the days to come because they're definitely working towards that. We were talking about the money deal that was behind them doing independent development a couple of days ago. I received a phone call. I was on the phone for a long time, about 2.5, almost 3 hours over the independent development stuff. And one of the big things is if they can invest $1 billion over the next 2 years, $1 billion into the independent development system and territory system that they're trying to run, they're planning on moving most of the territory systems completely out to where they're the only game in town. And that's a scary place to be if you really think about it, because if you only have one option for business, then you don't have any options at all. Because, if you don't get along in the system that's there, where are you going to go? What are you going to do? You're going to start your own promotion? Well, they'll just try to snuff you out with money there too. And here's the other thing. If you're running an independent show, right, and you are the booker, you're the promoter, you're doing everything, and your show is $10, and you're booking out a nice place that'll get you 200 to 300 people a week, and you've been really successful for a long time, but then WWE is going to bring all the independent development people and bring their traction to your town, and they're going to sell their show for $6. So $4 less, what's going to happen? Eventually people are going to stop coming because it's a little bit more expensive. And that's what they're planning on doing. So you have to watch this very closely, see who all they're going to ID, who all they're going to put into the developmental system, how they're going to be investing the money into the developmental system to make sure that these people are getting the best training that's possible towards them, and also making sure that they're working for their system independently, supposedly independently, but it's not really. But running for their schools and running for their systems and everything like that. So, it's going to be very, very interesting to see in the days to come what's going to be coming of this. I'm kind of leery of the independent development system for a couple of reasons. One of them is the poaching thing that's been going on. The other thing that I'm really leery of it is there's a lot of good wrestling across America, a lot of good wrestling across America that takes place on a daily basis. And people don't really know what all goes into it. When the little guy is putting in the hours, he's the only one promoting the show. He's the only one who's setting up the show. He's the only one booking the show. He's the only one who's paying talent. Sometimes he's hoping he has enough money to pay the talent. And so, I've been in those shows where some people just don't have the money to pay the talent, and they pay them in food or they pay them in whatever. And people agree to it because they love wrestling and they want to be a part of wrestling in any way possible. I'm not saying that those are the best promotions to work for. Don't get me wrong, because some of them are horrible promotions to work for. But if you get to a point to where you can't even make payroll and you can't even pay your bills and you can't even keep the lights on in the arena, it's going to be really easy for somebody who has all the money in the world to just walk in and take your territory over, even though you might have 200, 300, 400 people that come to your show, or 12 people or 14 people or 16 people, however many people you got. You got one person in the arena, that's a success. I don't care what anybody says. That's a success. You've entertained one person for the day. So, take it for what it's worth. But like I said, man, it's going to be interesting to see in the days to come what's going to be happening with it, how it's going to be going through, who all they're going to be taking, and what's going to be happening in the future. And speaking of future, TNA Wrestling, Joe Hendry discussed his future plans and he was talking about his breakout year as well over the past 12 months, being on WWE television, winning the NXT titles, all that. But he was on Busted Open Radio and he was talking about all this stuff. Henry's popularity allowed him to appear on WWE Next on several occasions and compete for the TNA and NXT world titles, despite him not being able to catch either championship. Hendry is beyond appreciative for his past year in professional wrestling and reflects on his journey in it on his most recent appearance on Busted Open Radio. It has been an insane year, but it's been the best year to me. It's proved that every dog has its day and it's never too late as well. There were surprise appearances. There were crossovers between TNA and NXT. I've had some amazing opportunities, and we've got a song on the top tier charts, main event back-to-back at TNA WWE pay-per-views, front cover for Pro Wrestling Illustrated. It's been a dream, Hendry said. Hendry also outlined his main goals for the upcoming year after being voted the professional wrestler and breakout wrestler star of 2024. Busted Open Radio explaining how he is striving to add the TNA World Championship to his resume. And I agree. I think it would be a great thing to add to your resume, Joe Hendry. I think that you deserve it, especially with the work that you've put in over the past, well, not including just the past 3 years, really, to be honest with you. The past year, you just skyrocketed through the roof and you made a name for yourself, and you were able to have that name for yourself and push yourself out there into the world of wrestling the way that you needed. So I've got to give you a 2 thumbs up here from Wrestle Talk with Arabbidb3aver. You are definitely Wrestle Talk approved, and we would love to see that TNA World Championship around your waist in this next coming year. He went on to say, I'm not the guy that gets over the first time. I'm the guy that tries and tries and tries again. Every time someone says my name, I appear and I never stop. And that's the message I want to put out there, is when you have a goal, you have to chase it relentlessly. And for me, it's becoming the TNA World Champion. So I definitely would love to see that from you as well, Joe Hendry. It would be A delight to see you as TNA World Champion. Oh, man, we got a lot to going on here. TNA was just part of it. The ticket sales for AEW were actually on the line as well. And we know that Eric Bischoff on his 83 weeks was definitely criticizing it quite a bit. Tony Khan recently provided an update on the ticket sales for AEW All In at 2025, revealing that the show had eclipsed over $1 million thus far. AEW will be looking to generate a larger audience from its last year's All In event, I should say, which sold just over 50,000 tickets compared to 81,000 in 2023, which broke the world record in most paid attendance at professional wrestling event. The former WCW executive Eric Bischoff has provided his thoughts on AEW's early success for All In 2025 83 on his 83 Weeks podcast, stating that he's curious to see if the company can maintain its sales due to its recent struggle in drawing attendance, which is very true. So they've had a lot of struggles drawing a crowd in over the past, I don't know, about 6 to 8 months. It's been kind of like pulling teeth to get them. So he congratulated AEW. They broke $1 million. I think the advanced ticket sales is something that's very good, but it's not that good. It's not a bad day at work, nothing to make you frown. So it'll be fun to watch how the rest of it goes. That big stadium for a company that's struggling to draw smaller markets and smaller buildings. So we'll see. It's an event that that's the thing about the big show. Sometimes it's not even about creative. WrestleMania has become so big that while we all love when there's a great story, even if it's not there, like WrestleMania was sold out. You know, Bischoff also noted how this would be AEW's first stadium show in the United States. He believes that Khan's promotion will be able to sell tickets to the people who otherwise wouldn't attend weekly tapings or smaller pay-per-views because of the importance of the event, as well as being hosted in a larger venue like Globe Life Field. Tony Khan has hyped up the AEW's All In 2025 in the lead up to the event, saying that it'll show and it will deliver, and he will have many surprises along the way, which is going to be very interesting to see as well. I think Eric is right in a couple ways here. They've had a big struggle to sell tickets in smaller markets and smaller crowds and smaller places, but they're developing that back. And a lot of it is, it's not bad business. I don't want to say that. It's not bad creative. I don't want to say that either. A lot of it is you got a lot of old dogs that need to be out of the business. Well, not necessarily out of the business, but they need to be in a different role inside the business. And you're giving them too much camera time. Tony Khan, I know you hate to hear that. I know you hate for people to criticize your company that way, but you got a lot of it, buddy. There's a lot of people who are way out of their prime that you're giving them the spotlight that they needed 20 years ago, that they should have had 20 years ago, that you're giving to them right now. And it's hurting your business in a way, because you're not being able to tell the stories that people want to see and people want to hear and people want to be able to experience for themselves. You do have a good writing. You do have good creative. You do have good people behind you, but it's hurting you in your pocketbook. And whether you want to hear it or not, that's the truth of it, Tony Khan, is you've got to get your storylines back to where they need to be. You lost money on Darby Allin, dude. I'm just going to say it. You lost freaking money on Darby Allin and Sting. You lost money on God, I can't even think of his name. Danhausen. You lost money on Danhausen. You're still losing money on Danhausen. What are you doing with Danhausen, for crying out loud? So, you gotta realize that, yeah, these kids are making money. These guys are making money, but you're putting people on the air and put them on television, and they needed to be off television, like not completely. Put them in a manager's role, put them in a valet's role, put them in behind the scenes writing. I mean, my God, do something else with them. Just get them out of the ring, because some of these people are a hazard. I'm not saying that all of them are, but you're giving way too much TV time to these people, and it's costing you. It's costing you in your pocketbook. It's costing you in viewership. It's costing you everywhere. And that's going to be a hot take. There's going to be a lot of people who don't agree with that take, but I'm going to tell you right now, Tony, that is the take of the day. You are definitely losing money because you're not prioritizing the talent that needs to be in the ring and giving them the opportunities and the shots to be who they need to be and do what they need to do. I think it's great that you want to use the Jungle Boy. I think it's great that you want to use Luchasaurus or Kill Switch, whatever you want to call him. I think it's great you want to use those guys. That's absolutely wonderful. I'm not saying don't use those guys, but there's people that don't deserve the TV time that are there to train other wrestlers, but you're giving them the TV time in priority. Got to change that, buddy. Got to change it 100%. And I'm not going to name any names because they already know who they are, especially when they hear this. They're going to know exactly who they are. And yeah, they're going to fire back at me, and I don't really care. That's just part of the business. It's going to happen. Sometimes you're just going to get that. You're going to have that happen from time to time. But it's the truth, man. You got to get to the point to where your superstars that were superstars 20 and 30 years ago, they've got to be starting to fade out at some point. Yeah, they can still be relevant. They can still go through and have a good storyline and have good matches, but you got to know when to hang it up sometimes. That's what really separates the good from the great. See, the good people will never hang it up. They'll never hang it up. They'll always try to do it. But the great people know exactly when to turn it in and turn it off and go in right into the sunset and hardly ever be seen again. Hardly ever be seen again. So, you got to call it what it is and do what it is. Tony, do better, baby. That's what we're going to say right here. Tony Khan, do better, baby. And it's easy. I mean, I know it's easy for me to sit behind a mic and criticize you in my little elf outfit here. I know that's an easy thing for me to do, is to sit here and criticize you. But the truth of it is, man, there's proof in the pudding, and your numbers aren't making it. Your television numbers aren't making it. Your freaking seats and ticket sales aren't making it, buddy. I mean, you got to bring back. If you're going to bring back people that are going to be relevant to the business, you got to make sure that they are still relevant in the business to where people want to see them and draw that money on them. So there's give and take on this. I don't think you're doing a terrible job overall, but you do prioritize a lot of the older wrestlers that need to be stepping away and going in a different direction. I'm not saying that some of them still can't be stars. There are some of them that are going to be superstars no matter where you put them, but you also have to do something else. Like what happened to Kenny Omega? So, yeah, we know he had diverticulitis, right? We know that he had that. God bless you, Kenny Omega. I'm sorry that you're going through all that stuff. But you got to get back to the point to where you can find him again. You got to be able to see him again inside the ring. You think people aren't waiting on the return of Kenny Omega, Tony Khan? Do you think they're not? What do you think's happening? Do you think they're just waiting on everybody else to come through and have their day in court? No. They want the most decorated man in freaking AEW history. They want Kenny Omega back, baby. So I know that he's going through a lot. I know that he's sick. I know that stuff's going to happen there, but you need to be pushing for it every day. You need to be pushing to make him better every day. Find a way to make that man become better. Yes, he's sick. Yes, he's had problems. Yes, he's had things he's had to go through. But you know what? It's time that sometimes people need to overcome, and they need to know by the voice of reason that they can overcome certain things. You might just be the voice of reason, Tony. You might be the one that talks to him and gives him exactly what he needs. So there you go. That's my 2 cents on that right there. I think Ring of Honor champion Chris Jericho staged his backstage look at GCW The Attack, which took place, showing him hitting Matt Cardona, King of the Indies back there. I think we've all seen that. If you haven't seen it, it's all over social media. You can hit it on YouTube. You can hit it on Facebook. You can see it on Instagram. You can see everything from Chris Jericho's page, also from Matt Cardona's page. There was a bunch of stuff that happened, but he just basically was escorted in by by security, because that's all real. We all know that's really going to happen, that you're just going to have a masked man escorted in. And he attacked Matt Cardona, hit him with that baseball bat. The Ring of Honor champion Chris Jericho gained an advantage ahead of his title defense against Matt Cardona in the final battle on December 20th. This week, Chris Jericho surprised his opponent with an attack at GCW. Now it said December for his final battle on December 20th. It's coming up. This weekend, Jericho surprised his opponent with an attack at GCW Highest in the Room 3 in Los Angeles during his main event match with Effie. In a post shared to his Instagram page, the King of New York gave his fans a backstage look on how he managed to get involved into the event. And they showed it all directly right there. They showed him ripping it off, showing his AEW shirt and all that good stuff after the deed had already been done and didn't take in place. So you all know up front it's going to be happening. Jericho also had this to say in a caption underneath the reel. He said, "Hi at the Matt Cardona. You didn't think the King of New York would pop up in Los Angeles at your Game Changer Wrestling Indie event, did you? Question mark. You made a big mistake forgetting who you're dealing with. I always get my man. See you at Ring of Honor in battle. AEW at Ring of Honor." So he's already posting it out there what he wants to do in the future to make it more viable and liable going forward. Jericho also revealed that AEW t-shirt like we had already talked about after he attacked him, and he received a lot of boos from the fans that were in attendance as the companies have had some disagreements. AEW's president Tony Khan pulled Ricky Starks from the GCW following comments made by Effie about Khan's father. Willie Mack also reported to pull out GCW shows, including the Highest in the Room 3. However, that move was rumored to be a decision made by Mac and not AEW specifically. Let me get a drink, guys. The Ring of Honor World Champion made his habit showing up in other promotions unannounced since leaving WWE in 2017. He attacked Kenny Omega in both New Japan Pro Wrestling and the inaugural All In event in 2018. The latter, while dressed as Pentagon Jr., he attacked Will Ospreay at Rev Pro event in 2023 while dressed as NWJP or New Japan Pro Wrestling star Bushi. And the entire Jericho Appreciation Society made a surprise appearance at PWG event in 2023 as well. And you know, so it's becoming his MO to do this over and over and over. And like I said, there's some people that need to go away. And I hate to say it, I think he's actually one of the best in the business on the mic. He's actually very sound inside the ring, but he's getting a lot predictable. There's a lot of predictability coming from Chris Jericho these days. So you have to look at it for what it's worth. Now, look, dude, I know I'm going to get heat for that. I know I'm going to get a lot of people who hate me, who don't really care about what I have to say or how I'm going to say it. But that's just the truth. He's just getting to the point now to where he's just a little bit old and he's just doing it a little bit too much. So, you know, we have to talk about, we were talking about Kenny Omega earlier just a little bit. And in a few short years, AEW built a library of matches and moments longer lived promotions would kill for with that star. And AEW definitely started some fans and wondering how Tony Khan could fill the roster in the event that he went out, and he did as he went out. Now there's so much depth that one of the promotions and one of the biggest problems is finding room for it all. And that's what we were talking about. You've got too many irons in the fire, baby. You have too many people and you don't know what to do with them. And you know who else had the same problem before they went out? WCW. I'm just going to say it, Con. I'm telling you, man, it's been done before. You're going down the same road. Yes, you're a fan. Yes, you want to make sure these people are secure in their job and they have the things going for them. But you have way too many irons in the fire. It's an embarrassment of talent and riches that may create headaches behind the scenes, but it will be paid in huge dividends if you're able to put the storylines together that need to be put together and run it the way that it needs to be run. I know I'm kind of kicking a dead horse here, guys. I'm sorry, but it is what it is at this point. We're just trying to make it work for all intensive purposes going on right here. And I'm just about out of time for today. So I've got to say, before I let you guys go, I do have some merchandise that's going to be available at www.streamlabs.com/Arabbidb3aver/merch. And if it will allow me to show you my page here, which it's not going to do, let me screen share here and it will do it. Boom, right here, guys. So right here is my merchandise. It's at www.streamlabs.com/Arabbidb3aver/merch, as you see right there. You can check all of our merchandise out. We have polos, we have hoodies. Now, these are limited. There's a limited number left. The other day, there was 100 left. I sold about 61 of them in the past 2 months. So we've done really good as far as that goes. But I have different colors that are available. I've got the dark gray. I've got the light blue. I've got the dark blue. I've got the light gray that's available to them. And same thing here. I've got baseball tees that are black and gray. Also have the navy blue and regular blue and light gray and dark gray available in it. I've got regular hoodies and royal tan, the Caribbean gray, the charcoal, the maroon, and the sky blue that's out there. I have raincoats in the light blue, I have it in royal blue, and I also have it in red. Now I've got my Camel Toe Adventures music stuff that's going on right there. You can see all that. I've got different colors for each of those that are available to you. Also have the Nerdy Gaming with a Rabbit Beaver girls and boys, men's and women's shirts that are available to you, hoodies that are available, and stickers and all the good stuff right here. Water bottles, all of it. Come catch us sometime. Nerdy Gaming with a Rabbit Beaver 132 on YouTube. You guys could catch us on Spotify whenever we do our radio show, on Buzzsprout as well whenever we do our radio show. Catch us anywhere other than iTunes that podcasts are available. We definitely are there for you guys. That is Wrestle Talk with a Rabbit Beaver. And as you see, man, the Seth Rollins and Punk thing is going to be huge for Netflix. I also think that Jesse Ventura's commentary comeback was actually pretty cool, that he was doing stuff directly with them. So it's definitely going to be great to see what's going to be happening in the future there. But I think that's all the time we have for today. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Oh, and before I go, guys, I must say, if you guys are in the market for a microphone, looking for it, give AJ Becerra a call today. He can get you hooked up with this mic directly right here that you got here at sweetwater.com, or give him a call, 800-222-4700, extension 1325. You definitely want to get it. It is the Blue Yeti microphone, USB microphone that we're using currently. In a few days, we're actually going to switch, but as of right now, we are sponsored by them, so definitely do that. Also, if you're looking to get some tickets, discounted tickets for the School of Morton on their show for the 22nd of December, head on over to ticketleak.com, hit that QR code, scan it in, and at checkout, type in that promotional code RABBIDBeaver, capital RABID, capital BEAVER. Get you some discounted tickets right now to the School of Morton, which is going to be coming up. Man, it's going to be a Christmas spectacular special going to be happening this Saturday. You guys don't want to miss it. Definitely come along for the ride, and let's get slammed together with Wrestle Talk with the Rabbit Beaver. We'd love to see you guys. Come on out and say hi to us. If you guys are there, it'd be very great to do so. Also, we were 100% viewer supported by people just like you. You can get it through our merchandise, or you can donate once again at www.streamlabs.com/Arabbidbeaver/home. And I'll show that to you in just a second if it will pop up on my screen. Let's see if it'll pop up. Right there we are. So you can see me right here, but over here on the right-hand side, I've got a donation box. You put your username, you can put your tab in there. You can do it monthly, you can do it one time, however you want to do it. Or you can hit these three buttons up here at the top and go to the donate tab, and you can do it one time monthly. You can put as much as you want or as little as you want in there, and then you click the donate tab, and we'd love to have that for you. So thank you guys so much for being here on Wrestle Talk with a Rabbit Beaver, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys for coming in. And until the next time, you guys heard it right here first on Wrestle Talk with a Rabbit Beaver. Hope you all have a wonderful night. Be safe, and I hope to